23rd of May, Rabbi Moore, Parsha Hashavua, Bemidbar.
Okay.
Hello, Rabbi. Hello, Yechiel. Sorry about that.
Okay. You can hear me, everybody?
I can hear you.
Good. Okay, let's go. We're up to Pasuk Gimel. Parshas Bemidbar, chapter 1, Perek Aleph, Pasuk Gimel.
Okay. Mi ben esrim shana va mala kol yotzei tzava b'Yisrael tif kedu osam l'tziv osam ata va'aharon. All right, so from 20 years old and up, everyone that goes into the army of Israel, you shall count them by armies.
Letzivoi som.
Pardon?
How do you translate the word Letzivoi som?
By their armies.
Yeah, but it can mean, but it really means by their groups. You say, Vayechul Hashamayim ba'aretz, v'chol tziva'am.
And all their hosts.
They're hosts. Well, what does that mean, they're hosts? He's invited you for Shabbos meal. Host means they're groups.
Groups, okay.
So same thing over here. The Tzivah Yisrael means by their groups, meaning each shevet by itself, and then each family in that shevet by itself. Okay, and who is the one to be in charge of the counting? Atov Aaron. You and Aaron are the ones to be doing the actual counting. Okay.
Kol Yotzei Tzava, everyone who goes out to the army, Magid, to tell us, She'ein Yotzei Ba'ava,
Batzava.
but Tzava, that nobody goes to the army, Pechos Mi Ben Esrim, less than the age of 20.
Right. Because otherwise, what's the purpose of telling you Kol Yotzei Tzava B'Yisrael? We're not counting them to go out to war here.
Right.
We're counting, right? This counting is for the purpose of counting them. This is purely a census, not to know how many soldiers you have. So the idea, so that's what Rashi says. This tells you that the how do you call it? The age of enlistment to the army, the age of recruitment to the army was only from 20 years old. Now, by the way, the Gemara learns out. Normally, if I had the term Ben Esrim Shana, what does that mean? 20 years old?
Yes.
Not necessarily. Normally, when you have Ben, let's say Korban Pesach, it has to be Ben Shana, means in its first year. Or another thing, a baby. What day does it have a bris milah?
8th day.
On the 8th day. How old is it then? 8 days old?
Yes.
No, he's 7 days old. What does it mean, Ben Shmonas Yomim? Ben Shmonas Yomim means on its 8th day. When he's in the 8th day, he's called Ben Shmonas Yomim. So technically, Ben Esrim Shana means when the person is in his 20th year. However, since the pasuk says over here, Ben Esrim Shana Bomalo, right, goes in the 20th year and up. That means only if they are past the 20th year, meaning they are 20 years old, only then are they eligible. And the Gemara learns it out actually from last week's Parsha, from the din of Erechim. Because there the Torah tells us that somebody who's between the age of 5 years old and 20, he has to give a certain amount for his erech. Okay, I believe it is, I don't remember now. Tell you in a second.
So I think it's 5 shekels, no?
No, between a month old and between a month old and 5 years old, then it's 5 for a boy and 3 for a girl.
Right.
Let's do this. Right, so between 20 and 50, between 20 and 50 is 50 for a man and 30 for a woman. Between 5 years old and 20, it's, between 5 years old and 20 is 20 for a man and 10 for a woman. And then in between the age of a month old till 5 years old, it's 5 for a man and 3 for a woman. And then over 60s, then a man is 15 and a woman is 10. So she goes back to being what she was when she was less than 20, whereas the man is even less. Okay. What do I want to say? Happened to me now. Hello.
I'm here.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. So we're going to mention something. Yeah, so the more learns out, since it there says, Mi ben esrim shana, ba'ad ben shishim shana, so it means from past 20 till 60. Because it can't mean within 20, because it says, I mean, from 5 years old till 20. So that includes those in the 20th year. Okay, so that's more makes the cheshbon. So Kopanim over here as well, when it says Mi ben esim shana v'malo, means past the 20th year, which means he's already 20 years old. Okay.
Hem hayu ye
Yehu,
you have a tu?
Yehu, with a yud.
Yehu ish lamata
Lamate.
lamate ish rosh leves avosav who. Okay, so it means and with you shall be one man per tribe.
Very good.
A man who is the head of a house of his father.
Is that man who's going to be
a man who is the head of
his father's household, meaning
father's household, right?
Which means he's a clan. It really means he should be a head of a clan.
Right. Okay. So Rashi says v'itchem you, and with you shall be ki shetif kedu osam. When you count them, you imachem, there will be with you the nisi kol shevet v'shevet, the prince of each tribe. I think that's it.
Yeah. Okay, meaning that the actual counting, so Rashi's got a little bit of a problem. The actual counting sounds, so the previous pasuk told us, Atov Aaron. So this pasuk just saying, with you, means they should be, the head of each tribe should be supervising the counting, which was done by Moshe and Aaron.
I see.
That's what Rashi's pointing out over here. Okay?
Okay, so now we have a long stretch with no Rashi.
Right, means that all the names of the leaders of the tribes.
Right. So should I read
Okay?
them? You want me to read them?
Don't have to. Let's go on to Pasuk 16.
Okay. Okay.
Eileh.
16. Eileh. Let's see, it says the pronunciation is Karuye. Ha'eda Nisi'e Matos Avosam Rashi Alfei Yisrael Haim. So these were summoned, were the summoned ones of the assembly, princes of the tribes of their fathers, the heads of the thousands of Israel they were. They were the heads of the thousands of Israel.
Right.
Okay, so Rashi says, Ele Kuru'e Ha'edah, these were the summoned ones of the assembly. Hanik Ra'im, those who were summoned, L'chol Davar Chashivus, for every matter of importance. Shiba Eda, which is in the assembly.
Which is in the community. Means every time there was a need for representatives of the different tribes to represent each tribe, these were the ones, they were the delegates, should we say, who were chosen to represent each tribe.
Right. Ace ha-anashim, I'm sorry, 17. Vayikach Moshe v'Aharon Ace ha-anashim ha'eleh asher tikvu b'shemot.
Asher nikvu.
Asher nikvu b'shemos. So, and Moshe and Aaron took these men that were designated by name,
Okay.
by their names.
No, it doesn't. Yeah, but Shemus just by name. But Shemus with names.
By
So,
name, with
yeah.
name, by name. Okay. Rashi says, Es ha'anashim ha'eleh, these men, Es shenem asar nesiim halalu. So 12 princes, these 12 princes, Asher Nikvu, that were designated, Lo Khan, to him here, to him being Moses, B'Shemos, by their names.
Right. So what Rashi's pointing out, first of all, in the previous thing, Rashi's pointing out, that we're not talking about a separate group of men. It says these men, you could think, well, these men going to be mentioned following. So Rashi's saying, no, it doesn't mean that. It means these were men who have already been mentioned.
Oh.
That's what Rashi's saying. You have to learn the two Rashis together. And Moshe and Aaron took these men, i.e. the 12 leaders, these 12 leaders who are Asher Nikvu Lo Kan B'Shemes, who have already been mentioned over here by name.
Got it.
Okay, actually I translate Nikvu had been specified by name.
Right. The ace kol ha'edah hilu be'echad la chodesh hasheni va'yis yaladu al mishpechosam leves avosam b'mispar shemos miben esrim shana v'mala ligul gol lo sam. Okay, so it means all of the congregation Hilu,
Hikilu means all the they had them congregate.
They had them were
Well,
congregated
this means they assembled. They then assembled the entire community
on the first of the
second
month to verify their lineage according to their families,
the fathers, according to their ancestral houses.
according to their
According to their father, really, it's their father's ancestral houses.
Houses of their fathers, by the number of their names, from 20 years and upward, by their head count.
By head count, right? By their head count. So again, as I mentioned yesterday, there's two things. There's mispar shemois, and it was the Gugaloso.
Right. V'yis yaldu al.
Now, this is a very rare kind of, how do you call it, reflexive form.
And they established the genealogy according to their families.
Yeah.
Hevi'u.
So I tell you what, it literally means they had themselves born by their families. By Yisyaldu. Right? It comes, the root is from laledes, to be born.
Right.
To give birth. But so they had themselves born by their families. So Rashi explains what that means is, and that's how I translated over here. They verified, that's what I got there, they verified their lineage.
Hevi'u sifrei Yehusehem. They brought their documents of lineage. Ve'edei chezkas le'dasam, and witnesses to the status of their birth. Kol echad ve'echad, each and every one of them. Lehis yachas al
Yaches al hashevet.
Yaches al hashevet, so as to trace his ancestry to his tribe.
Meaning, right. I don't think I translated his ancestry like that. Where do I have it over here?
So they had documentation of their lineage.
Yeah.
That's surprising to me. They're a bunch of slaves.
So what? They
Slaves
maintained their Jewish identity. I mean, their separation from the Egyptians, that they didn't intermarry and they didn't intermingle, meaning they kept themselves aloof from the Egyptians, even though they may have culturally become very much part of the Egyptian culture, but as far as on the family level, they kept themselves separate.
Well, what documentation are we talking about? Talking about like birth certificates?
Kind of the concept of Sifrei Yuchsim, which means like family trees, right? It's a concept which goes back a long, long way, as we see from over here. That they maintained their family tree all the way back to Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov.
Uh-huh.
Just one second. Um, yeah. Okay. Just got an interesting note over here. Yes. So in other words, Rashi's pointing out over here, there's two things over here. That they should be part of the tribe, and to which family. Now there's two things over here. Two things. Okay. So the question is, where does Rashi get it from that there was necessary to bring two proofs? We could have just as well brought the how do you say, the lineage, the records of their lineage. Why did they have to bring witnesses as well? So I'll just read you my note over here. Goari explains that Rashi derives the two forms of proof from the language of the verse. Al mishpachaisam, according to their families. So from the verse, Al mishpachaisam, according to their families, includes the use of the records of their lineage. And vayisialdu indicates the verification of their birth status. So in other words, the double expression vayisialdu, which in itself means they had the lineage verified, and al mishpachaisam also tells you that. So therefore, Rashi, according to the Gorarie, Rashi wanted to understood there was two forms of verification indicated by the two expressions, vayisialdu and al mishpachaisam. Okay, let's continue.
All right, now we got to jump to 49.
We're going to jump to 49, yes.
Okay, so 49 says, Af es mate Levi lo.
So, yeah, by the way, just as a prelude to this pasuk, you have to see pasuk 47, because they're there, or 46 actually. It says they counted, or the total amount of the children of Israel, of those between 20 years old and 60, was by the way, I forgot to mention a more important point. It never says anywhere what was the upper age of the men counted. Pasuk Gimel told us those 20 years old and up were counted. Okay? It doesn't say till what age. However, it's an interesting thing. The Gemara doesn't actually speak about it with regard to when the Jewish people were counted over here. But the Gemara in Taanis, the end of Taanis, the Gemara says that, how do I know that those who were died as a result of the punishment because of the sin of the spies were those between 20 and 60? Because the apostle just says over there, just those over 20 were going to die, were going to be punished to die in the desert. It doesn't mention anything about being till 60 years old. So the Gemara says, we learn that out from Erechim, that just by Erechim, you see those over 20, their Erech were applied till the age of 60. So too, those who were subject to the punishment of the sin of the spies were those over 20, as stated in the Parsha, and they were also, thus includes those till 60 years old. So most of the Mefarshim learns here too as well, that those included in the census of the Jewish people over here were those over 20, which is stated explicitly, and they applied till those age of 60, not stated explicitly. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah, so,
right. So
just then Pasuk says, והלוויים למטה אבויסם לא הספקתו בשויכם. The Levim, according to the tribes, were not counted with them. And that's we'll see. Basically, tomorrow, Be'ez Hashem, will carry on, Pasuk 49, and we'll see a very interesting Rashi over here. Why the Levim were counted separately. Okay?
Okay, thank you, Rabbi.
Fine, have a great day.
All right.
Be
you
well,
too.
Yechiel. Kol Tov.